Good morning and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Of course, we are live ahead of FPL Game Week 22. It's been a while since we've said that. Of course, last weekend we did have the FA Cup, but we are now back and here we are, ready to hopefully help you guys get your team in shape ahead, of course, of the big deadline. As you can see, lots of games happening today, an 11 p.m. It's a.m. 11 a.m. Deadline. You can tell I've just woken up, but 11 a.m. deadline for, of course, the big game week 22. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm not quite 100%. My voice is a little bit raspy today, to be honest. A little bit of a snotty nose. So if I do obviously go off mic or anything like that, then we'll probably just give it a little quick blow or little drink or whatever, or pop some sweets and stuff like that, just to help my voice keep going for the 2 hours that we're going to be live today. But yeah, any questions you've got, of course, do get them in the chat. As always, the team reviews are over on Discord. If you want to get yourself involved with that one, make sure, of course, you are using the link in the pinned comment, and that will take you to our Discord where you can get your team rated by me, or of course Golden Goal, who is also live as well, and also doing team ratings through our joint Discord that we've got together. Just move my mic, and yeah, there we go. Who's in the chat? We've got Last Players 4275 says good morning to all. Global Sports Cod says good day, legend, from Melbourne. Thank you very much, man. Tadun says hello. Appreciate all the awesome content. Oh, it's no worries, man. That's what we're here for. Zen's in the chat as well. Nixie says yes, Tom. There we go. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right for everybody asking in the chat. I'm not too bad. Got a little bit of, I don't know if it's like a cold or what, but just like a little bit of like sniffles and sore throat, but I'm good. I feel fine. I'm all decent. I'm not too bad, so I can't really complain. In terms of my team then, we'll quickly run through that and my plans for that one. As you can see at the moment, I've not made any transfers. We've still got 2 in the bank. If you've watched any of the content this week, you do know that I have been looking at doing Declan Rice in for Cunha, and I think that's pretty much the move we're going to do today. We're just going to buy Declan Rice for Cunha, and that's the move we're going to make. Simple as that. Nothing too kind of, out there crazy. Just a very simple move. Gives us 2 for next week as well to assess what situation we're in. The big decision is, do we play Anderson or do we play Richards this week? Now, I'm leaning towards, like, my gut feel was more towards Anderson. However, I've looked at, some predicted points, some clean sheet numbers. It is suggesting Richards is probably going to be the better pick. But there isn't too much to split between the two. So I think that's, to be honest, where we're going to end up. So, yeah, we're going to drop Cunha for Rice, and then Rice will obviously come in for either Anderson or Richards. That's the big debate today, who we're benching for those two. Other than that, I do feel like the team is pretty strong. Cool. I can see we've got already plenty in the chat. Let's start running through some of your guys' questions. Am I buying someone today? Yes, I am buying Declan Rice. I can put together a free hit team for you if you want to go. And I haven't actually done one on TikTok this week yet, but I'll put one together for you. It's Enzo's birthday today, and I've given the armband for this game week out of love. Fair enough. You do see it quite a bit, to be honest. You do see it quite a bit. Waited long for this stream. We are finally back, mate. We are finally back. I do miss it when we don't have FPL. I have Richarlison, who's out till March. Can sell him for Ekitike, Watkins, or Thiago. What's the best replacement for the next 2 to 3 weeks? I mean, Ekitike is a great shout for this week, and might maybe make my captaincy. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that move, but that is kind of probably who would be my top pick, but he is a little bit expensive. Thiago's obviously been banging the goals. His effective ownership is probably ruining you. Other than that, like, maybe it's just time to switch like a groupie and use the money elsewhere in that forward position. I explained who I'm going to bench if I bring in Rice. Better start Tarkowski or Thiago. I personally would go with Thiago. Villa at home are a bit of a beast, so I don't think I'd really take them on with a defender. What do you think about Cunha for Bruno? I don't mind it. Like, for me, Bruno is probably going to be the next 2 weeks, like, where I think you can just sit and see how United do before, of course, reinvesting into him. He will be a player that I do want and will pick up, but not right now. Not right now for me. Do I think Timber will start? Yeah, I think Timber will start. I'm pretty confident on that. Will Gahey play for City this game week? No, because the move's not officially gone through, so he won't play for them. Yeah, I understand the temptation to go with Ekitike. I get it. I get it. Is Bowen on pens at the moment? We'll have to wait and see, but he could be. Yes, he very, very easily could be, to be honest. Is Haaland to Thiago insane or reasonable? I think it's pretty insane, so I probably won't go for it. What are your thoughts on double Arsenal defense? Instead of Raya and Timber, why not Gabriel and Timber? Because they have a higher ceiling than Raya. They do. But it depends on your strategy, to be honest. If, of course, you are planning to wildcard in game week 32, you're going to be pretty much dead-ending your team in game week 31. And the good thing about having Raya is you can very easily just stash him on the bench. Like, it's one less spot to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, that's one less Arsenal spot. Whereas for me, I'm going to have to ditch a Rice. I'm going to have to sell them in the upcoming weeks or, of course, on the week. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem I'm going to have. So Raya gives you that advantage where he's very easy just to smuggle straight onto the bench and play whoever your backup goalkeeper is. Pretty easy. Should I sell Semenyo or Foden for Rice? I don't think I would, to be honest. Paqueta is on pens. However, he's like a doubt for either not training, injured, trying to force a move. Like, there's so many things going off with Paqueta. I really don't know what's going off with him. So that probably means that he isn't going to play, which then means, in turn, you've probably got Jarrod Bowen on penalties. Tom, how much for you to captain Ekitike this week? Not much. Not much. I don't think it would take much. Can you explain what dead end means? Yeah, it pretty much means my team all my transfers and team by the end of game week 31 would all be just focused on that game week. So it would mean my team would look terrible for the game week 32, 33, 34. It would just look terrible because the team is pretty much just set up for that game week, right? So, for example, if you were dead ending your team into this week, you would happily take, 1 week punts on Liverpool players or, who else has got a pretty decent fixture this week? Arsenal players or, that's how the team would then start to look. We'd pretty much just go for kind of, one of those moves where on this side, like, we're not dead ending now, but we're trying to get, to game week 32 in kind of without using the wild card, basically. Do I think Semenyo will start? I think after his recent performances, I think he could. I really, really do. Is Bruno G or Rice a priority buy? I don't think either are a priority buy. I think Guimaraes has got this week, right? Which he might not play, given the amount of fixtures, to be honest, that Newcastle have got coming up in the chat. So, yeah, they do have a lot of good fixtures after this one, a lot of priority fixtures, where I do think maybe we might see some rotation for them. So that could always be a concern a little bit. So yeah, that's my only concern with Bruno, but I don't think he's a must-buy. Rice, I think, is a very steady Eddie, and there's some decent fixtures. If I had to pick between the two right now, and I basically am, I am going with Rice over Bruno Guimaraes. Jamie's in the chat. He says, let's go. What's up, Tom? Hope you're good, mate. I hope you're doing well as well. I'm pretty decent. I've got a little bit of a but I'm all right. Other than that, I'm all right. Can you go with a raw wildcard draft, like the core players? For me, the core players would probably be like Gabriel. I actually wouldn't even mind Raya on a thing. Like I said, if you kind of got to get past that one, but you could very easily stash him. I think it would be Gabriel, maybe a Timber, maybe a Rice, maybe a Saka. You got to probably pick one of those. Haaland, obviously. Who else would I have in there? What did I put in my wildcard team for this week? I mean, you could either go for the 4-5-1 structure. So I think Bruno makes it. I think Rice makes it. I think, like I said, you probably go for either a Saka, a Timber, a Gabriel. I don't mind Elliot Anderson. There's some all right fixtures coming up there. Palace have some pretty decent fixtures going forward longer term as well. Don't mind it. So, yeah. That's kind of the rough structure. If you want to go and see it, I did a video earlier in the week. I also did a TikTok as well where I ran through 3 different teams. So kind of just take the players that pick your fancy really from those. Tavernier could also be a great shout for a budget pick as well this week. Who's the best O'Reilly replacement? I mean, if you can get into any of the Arsenal defenders with your money, probably them. Lacroix, maybe. Like Palace have got some pretty decent fixtures coming up. I know they've just lost Gahey, but they've still got some pretty decent fixtures. Definitely investable defense. Is Xavi Simons a good low cost pick? Because I already have Wilson and Tavernier. I wouldn't even look anywhere near Xavi Simons, to be honest, mate. Their next 2 fixtures are all right for Spurs, but yeah, nowhere near I'd look at Xavi Simons. I have Ekitike, Wirtz, Haaland, and Thiago. Should I replace Ekitike with Calvert-Lewin? Not this game week. Not when he's got Burnley. Not when he's got Burnley. That for me just seems like a bit of a silly move. Against Burnley, who've conceded the 3rd most goal involvements from strikers and have conceded the 3rd most XG from strikers, that doesn't seem like a wise move to me, to be honest. I'm just going to quickly blow my nose, so give me a second. There we go. No worries, mate. Start Mukulele or Krupi. Who've Bournemouth got this week? Brighton. That's not a bad game. I think with Sunderland's unbeaten home record, I probably would go the defensive route. Who should I transfer out amongst Semenyo and Foden in order to transfer in Bruno G? Probably more likely Semenyo, but I mean, after the FA Cup and League Cup, he very easily could play and could be a very decent player. Semenyo, Cunha, or Welbeck, who should I play? I would probably be tempted to play Semenyo, right? I think Semenyo probably would be the one for me. Start 2, Alderante, Lafi, or Chow. I would probably go with Malik Chow for me this week. And I don't really like benching penalty takers, so probably Enzo Lafi. Start Anderson, Van Heck, or Rodon. I think you probably go... Oh, I would be tempted with maybe Van Heck. Yeah, Van Heck would probably be the one there. Best Ekitike replacement in Game Week 24. Depends what you want to do with your side, but you could very easily go down to like a Krupi, a Mane, like especially if Wolves get that double, like he could be a very popular cheap option at 4.5. I don't hate it. Your other options are very limited within the forward position, really, aren't they? Yeah. Thiago or Palmer bench 1. I think for the big bucks that you're paying, you probably maybe have to look at benching Thiago, but I don't think that's probably the play. There's surely got to be somebody else that you can maybe bench this week. Brother, please, I have Cunha, Wilson, and Stack. I need to start 2. I would genuinely be tempted to start Wilson and Stack. Yeah, Wilson and Stack would probably start for me. Whom should I start as the 3rd defender amongst Gahey, Alderente, and Chalobah? Gahey's not going to play. So I would actually be tempted with Chalobah. He's actually got some of the best points per game. I think he's the one. Bruno Fernandes, captain. Not for me. Not for me this week. Any Palmer fitness news? There was a picture going around and someone put it in the Discord yesterday. For anybody that doesn't know already, team reviews, like I said, are now over on the FPL Cartel Discord if you want to get your team rated by myself. There was something in our team news section where, what's it called? We were speaking about Palmer, and somebody posted a picture like of him training. So that's about as good as we've got at the moment. Hi Tom, did that one, I think. Hi Tom, who's the best to start from Rodon, Anderson, Krupi, or O'Reilly? I think I'd still probably go O'Reilly, right? O'Reilly or Anderson for me. Hi Tom, is it necessarily to sell Cunha this week if I've got Saka, Foden, Enzo, Rogers, and Cunha? Like, I don't think it's unnecessary. I just think he's lost most of his appeal. Like, he's no longer on penalties. He is, you know, coming off early in the last game. That was not a good sign for me. I do think, like, you know, Bruno is... If you've got the funds available, I would probably just make that switch this week. Start 2, Chalobah, Bruno F, Calvert-Lewin. I probably would go with Bruno F, and I would maybe go with Calvert-Lewin there as well. He's banging form at the moment, isn't he? Semenyo is not registered in the UCL at the moment, so I reckon he starts United and Wolves either side of the UCL game. That makes sense. That does make sense, doesn't it? Best Keane replacement longer term. My only bench is a Stev. Should I roll and just play a Stev or look to sell Keane? I probably would look to maybe sell off Keane. He's going to miss the next 2 games. So I probably would sell him off. I'm just going to quickly blow my nose again. Apologies. Somebody says, is Soboslai a good pick? No. I'm really devastated that I picked him. He's been a crap pick for me. Yeah. Can I check the Discord? Yes, if you've sent something in, Janice. I believe you have, right? Yes, you have. Right, cool. We'll go and check that out and give a prime example of what the FPL Cartel Discord does look like for you guys. Like I said, if you do want to, of course, like today's stream, it would be massively appreciated. It does push the stream out, of course, to more FPL managers, and that is exactly what we want to see with this, right? That's what we want to see. We want to try and get as many people in here as possible. So, yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, like I said, hit that like button, hit subscribe. You know the drill by now. Right, let's head over to the Discord. Let's head over to the Discord. Here we are. Like I said, if you want to get your team reviewed, I will post the link in for the cartel now into the chat. If the chat wants to load back in on YouTube for me on my laptop, it seems like it doesn't. So it would just be the pinned comment for now. But yeah, we've got a really good community over here. And like I said, this is where team reviews will be going in future. So Janice has sent his or her team in. I don't want to assume genders, but I'm going to assume a man. 1 free transfer, 1.4 million in the bank. Let's have a look at this. I mean, my initial thoughts is either Cherky or Cunha to like Rice is my initial thoughts. Like it is either Cherky or Cunha to Rice for me. That's kind of where my head sits with that one. Yeah, Cherky or Rice to Cunha, and I think this team's pretty set, to be honest. The only problem is like your bench is pretty ropey, isn't it? Like Vanderberg's not playing at the moment. Dorgu's definitely not going to play. Mark might, but yeah, the defense probably does need a little bit of work. Could you do Vanderberg up to Saliba or Timber, maybe? I don't know if you've got the money. I'm trying to work it out in my head, and I don't think you do. So I think, yeah, I probably would do that. Either that or like Vanderberg for like Chalobah. That could be an all right move. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Yeah, that could be pretty steady. So yeah, my moves would either be Vanderberg for Chalobah or Cunha or Cherky for Rice would probably be the moves that I would suggest for this week. I probably would lean more towards the Cherky moves for me this week. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Majon, but you're banned from the Discord for breaking our rules and policies. So yeah, even when you do turn 18, you ain't coming back in. Are people sleeping on Rice as a captain this week? He's not a bad option. I do think probably for me the options are going to be either Haaland or Ekitike. I think that's realistically where people are at, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've not read the community right this week, but I think that's probably where most people are. Hello, mate. I need some help for my FPL draft squad. Do you think João Pedro starts tomorrow, or should I go for Mateus Mane? I personally wouldn't even bother looking at like João Pedro. He's just not an option for me. Yeah, he's a non-runner for me. I wouldn't even go near him. Bench Waltemada or Thiago Waltemada. Oh, Waltemada against Thingy could be a tasty one, and he could play, but he did play midweek, so that's a toughie. I mean, surely you can't bench Waltemada, but he could very easily get a 1-pointer. It would not shock me, so I think I probably still would go with Thiago. Is it time to bring Salah back? I mean, the fact that he's still at the African Cup of Nations, no. Like, I know they went out, but they've got a third-place game today. So, yeah, not worth it, in my opinion. Not worth it at all, in my opinion. Just gonna blow my nose again. Apologies, guys. Right, I'm back. I'm back. I think it's just a UK thing. Like, there's just it's just like cold and flu season, isn't it? Really, everyone picks it up. That's literally it. So yeah, it's just kind of that time of year. Chow starts, yeah, Chow starts. No Shaw, like they need the cover. Dan Burns still out. They've not got another centre back really. It's going to be him and Botman that will be at the back. Thoughts on Barnes? He's all right if you need like just a cheap striker. That's fine. I'm going Ekitike. Never captain the early kickoff. Fortune favors the brave. It really does, my friend. It really does. And obviously, yeah, the Mahatma Gandhi curse. The Mahatma Gandhi curse, eh? It is real for people that don't think it's real. It is very much real, let me tell you. Who would you sell between Foden, Semenyo, and Nico O'Reilly? I think Majon made a good point earlier in the chat that Semenyo isn't available for the UCL till after this round. So I think Semenyo could see very decent minutes. I think, selling Foden as well. I don't think it's quite the play. So I think Nico O'Reilly's probably the one. But, like, to be honest, like, City's fixtures, they've got a good game this week and then they've got Wolves next week. Like, they are good fixtures to go for, to be honest. Cunha for Tavernier if I don't go for Bruno. Don't hate it. Penalty share. Decent fixtures after 24. Don't mind it. Thinking about Foden and Cunha to Bruno and Gakpo. A good move or a better role? I'm not 100% keen on Gakpo, to be honest. I know he's back in, but the Liverpool fixtures after this Burnley game are like not amazing. Like Bournemouth, yeah, is great. Newcastle, City, Sunderland, like Sunderland unbeaten at home. Like, so I wouldn't say that's like a gimme fixture, but yeah, I don't really see that as investable. I think it's probably like I said, after maybe like this week here, that's more investable for me. That is more investable fixtures than what obviously you're looking at right now. He could be exhausted, but I think with him being the early kickoff, like, and it's the derby, I don't think he misses on the derby. If he's gonna miss any game, it's either Wolves next week or it's Boda Glimt midweek. Those are the two games that he'll either miss. Like, you know what I mean? I think Foden starts. I do think Foden starts, and I probably would go with Joachim Andersen. Minter probably comes off the bench. I've seen he's back in training, but yeah, I still think maybe he comes off the bench this week. That's probably where my mind would be at with that one. Of course, guys, if you do want your teams reviewed, I can put the link in the chat now. Hey, I can put the link in the chat. Here it is. It is the FPL Cartel Discord. Obviously, that's where we're doing team reviews from now on. You get access to mine and Tom's exclusive podcast. You can also ask us questions after the deadline stream. We're just doing like regular team reviews in there. There's so much going off. We've got a last man standing competition, which could end this week. So make sure to get yourself in. And obviously that will potentially reset this week. I think the teams that have been selected by the final two are Arsenal and Liverpool. So if either of those lose or draw, we could be looking obviously at a big juicy prize for one of the winners. So fair play to them. Obviously we've got a mini leagues as well. I'll have a look who's top for January in a little bit and announce that in our mini league and stuff like that. And then finally, something that I launched yesterday is my own model. Yeah, it's my own model. Here it is. I don't think you can quite see it on this screen. No, hang on. I don't think you can see it at all on this screen. But it is my own model, which will be exclusive to the Discord server. So yeah. Here it is. This is my own model. This is what I've built. You can't quite see who's the top, but I'm guessing you can guess for the next few weeks. It is going to be Haaland. Second is going to be Gabriel. Third is going to be Rice. And a player that really stood out to me when I was building this model yesterday was actually Munoz. Yeah, Munoz looks absolutely cracking when he's back and fit and available and stuff like that. Rice also up there as well. Chalobah, Thiago, like, yeah, it's decent. I rate the model. I like the model. So, yeah, that's also available in the Discord as well. So come and get yourself in there as well. Enzo, Bruno, or Tavernier to replace Cunha. If you don't get Bruno, that's okay because I can get him after game week 23 to replace Foden. That's kind of my thoughts as well. I like Enzo. I think he's a very easy long-term hold. Same goes with Tavernier as well. Bruno G, I think, the Newcastle fixtures, you get this one, and then they do get a little bit more sharp after this. They've also got a lot of fixtures, like quick volume as well. Like Villa and Liverpool in 23 and 24, not the easiest. I don't mind the Brentford or Tottenham games. They seem all right. Then City in 2027. They've also got, obviously, the second round of the League Cup. They also have Champions League as well. So there's a lot of games coming quick and fast for Newcastle. So that would be my only concern around potentially bringing some of their players in. They might see this Wolves game as one of the games where they potentially could rotate this week. Will Mark Gahey start for Manchester City? No, he's not actually officially signed yet. He's just been Fabrizio Romano'd. Here we go. And I think even if they did sign him today, they wouldn't have enough time to process the move at the Premier League. So he won't be available for either Palace or for Manchester City this week. City defense still worth it? I mean, it's like, I don't think I probably would sell Nico O'Reilly unless I had a clear and defined move this week. I don't think I would. Buy Enzo or Semenyo. I probably would buy more Enzo. I think there is just too much doubt around Semenyo for me to personally buy into it. But yeah, stock Collins or Anderson. I probably would go with Anderson this week. Should I buy Calvert-Lewin or Harry Wilson? I personally would buy. I'd play Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, I play Calvert-Lewin. Got penalty share, banging form. Home fixture as well for Leeds. They are pretty decent at home. So, yeah, that's probably the way I would go with that one. Bruno G, Haaland, or Ekitike captain. Those are all the 3 suggestions I went for in my TikTok this week. I would personally, I think if you're scared of the EO, because he will have, again, ridiculous EO, will be Haaland. So if you're in a decent ranked place, I don't think there's any real need to risk it this week. But I really like the look of Ekitike. I think he could be an absolutely fantastic pick. Hi, Tom. Minter, Wilson, Minter has Bournemouth, Wilson has Leeds. I probably would do the move, yes. Start Krupi or Miley. I probably would go, Miley. Matoma, Barnes, or McAllister. I mean, that is a poor selection to go for. Probably Matoma, but yeah, it's not a great set of players to pick from, really, is it there? Of course, guys, do keep the questions coming in. Anything you do want to ask me ahead of the deadline, do let me know. Like I said, team reviews will be done over on Discord. So if you want to get your team reviewed by me, come over to the FPL Cartel Discord and come check it out. Start Alderente or Anderson. I would probably go with Alderente, unbeaten at home, or Sunderland, better for clean sheet opportunities, 31% chance I believe they have this week. So yeah, I'd probably go with that one. Wirtz for captain. I mean, he's in all right form, isn't he? It's a good fixture. So if you fancy it, go for it. But I still do believe most people are probably going to be going Haaland. I think if you're in a decent ranked place, Haaland is probably going to be the pick. Ekitike is quite high. He's a lot higher than I thought he would be. 28% on the poll are going for Ekitike. So yeah, he could be a monster this week if you've not got him. Just gonna again quickly blow my nose. Apologies, like I said, I'm not 100% at the moment, but yeah, give me a second. Yeah, I do agree with the comment about Ekitike potentially not playing full 90s. I think it's very valid. They've got Marseille midweek, very important game for Liverpool in the Champions League. So yeah, I could see if they're a couple nil up, Ekitike very easily coming off. Captain Watkins. I mean, Everton look bad at the moment. They do look bad. I don't mind that as a differential shout. I really, really don't mind that as a differential shout. Again, though, I think he would just be good enough to have. Never mind, like, just captaincy material or anything like that. Calvert-Lewin or Raul? Probably Calvert-Lewin for me. Yeah, I think just him having the penalty share, like, now probably bumps him up as an asset, to be honest, in my opinion. I think he scored quite highly in my model for the next few weeks. Let's have a look. Obviously, like I said, if you want to come and test out my my model, it is available for people in the FPL Cartel Discord. Where was he? Calvert-Lewin, yeah, he's there. Yeah, he's 17th over the next 5 for me in terms of predicted points. Not bad. Like, you could do a hell of a lot worse. And like some of the players here, like I haven't filtered out injured players yet. That's something that I need to do with this model. But like Dewsbury Hall's in here at the moment, and picks like that. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin could definitely be an all right buy. Looking at my own model, I kind of have to back it a little bit, don't I? I've built it, so I've kind of got to go for it. Yeah, Liverpool are struggling to break teams down. I think you make a very valid point, don't you, Jamie? That's kind of why I've not fully gone in on it. There's also the doubts around his minutes and stuff like that. So that is kind of where my head is at with that one. What is your longest consecutive red arrow streak? I think maybe like 6 game weeks in a row. I had like a red arrow last season, something like that. Ridiculous. You get them. You get these runs sometimes where you can't buy a green arrow to save your life, but you get back there. I won't deep it too much. I have 3 Arsenal: sell Cunha to Bruno F, or Rodgers, start O'Reilly or Alderente. I probably would go with O'Reilly, and I would probably be tempted more with the Bruno F than Rodgers one. Yeah. I'm stuck with Paqueta, sell him and Timber to get Frimpong and Rice, but other mid is Bruno G, Saka, Cunha, Cherky, Paqueta. Could you not just do Paqueta to Tavernier, like straight swap? That saves a lot of headaches. Tavernier, decent minutes, playing very good minutes on penalties. I think that could be just the easier move for you there, mate. Start Mateus Nunes or Tarkowski. I'd probably go Mateus Nunes. Is Hall good for this game week? Yeah, he should be decent. Having watched him the other night, he was very, very good. He was very, very good. I'll give him that. He was very decent. I'm going to quickly blow my nose again. Apologies. Cool. Like I said, if you want to get your team rated by me, I'm going to put the link back in the chat. Make sure you're coming over and joining the FPL Cartel. You can obviously get access to me and my Tom, me and Golden Goal, our exclusive podcast. Ask me any questions throughout the week and stuff, and just generally have a chat to me as well, if you want to come and do that. We've got our prize mini league as well, where we give prizes away each month, and obviously a big prize at the end of the season. We've got Last Man Standing. We've also got my model that is going to be a permanent feature in there as well. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Richards has just joined the Discord. He just said, "Hello guys, I'm here from the US. I'm watching FPL Tom stream earlier, and he talked about the Discord chat, and I decided to give it a try. Thank you very much." There we go. Cunha to Enzo or Tavernier. Yeah, I think both are very, very valid moves. Apparently, it's Enzo's birthday today, so maybe a birthday goal. I like both players. I probably would lean more towards maybe picking up Enzo just because I think Tavernier's got City next week, right? Or so they've got a difficult. Yeah, they've got Liverpool next week, so not the easiest fixture where you would really want to play an attacker in. But Liverpool aren't great at the moment, so you never know. Thiago all the way for me, boy. Yeah, Thiago all the way. He would be the one that would get it there. Yeah. I think it will probably make him worse. Like where Gahey has picked up a lot of points this season is, of course, you have had him hitting defensive contributions. City's defenders don't do that. Like Gvardiol and Diaz, just non-existent defensive contributions. Then you've also got the fact that he's also picked up quite a few goals from either that be assists or from just corners, throw-ins, all that. Again, that's something that City don't really look to do. So I think you will still get decent clean sheet numbers because City are a decent defence. However, what you won't get is defensive contributions anymore, and you're probably not going to get that goal threat from set plays because, like I said, City don't really look to do that. They are one of the worst sides for creating opportunities from this metric. So maybe there's going to be a switch, and maybe Gahey is that guy that's going to unlock that. But right now, doesn't really seem like the route. Who do I support in the Prem? Which team do I support? I support Mansfield Town. They're my team. In the Premier League, I probably have a soft spot for Brentford. They're the only team. Like, I wouldn't say I root for them every single week. Like, I'm not like, oh, come on, Brentford. Yes, get a goal. I'm kind of just like, yeah, neutral. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm saying. Like, for me, Mansfield are my team. We got Burnley in the FA Cup in the next round as well. Hopefully, I can try and get some tickets for that. That'd be great, but we'll have to wait and see. But other than that, like I said, it is Mansfield. They're my team. And yeah, that's about it. That is about it. Some people have sent some teams in for review, so let's head over to the Discord and come and have a check of those. Let's have a look. Richards has just sent his team in after joining, so I really do appreciate that, man. He says, "Hi Tom, this is my team, man. Already made one free transfer with Nico O'Reilly for Manchester City to the mighty Gabriel. Rate that. Will you change any of my benching decisions? Debating the captaincy armband between Erling Haaland and Ekitike. Thoughts?" Yeah, so let's have a look. For me personally, would maybe be tempted to start either Alderente or Richards ahead of Cunha. I know that does seem a bit drastic and a bit wild, but I genuinely do think I probably would prefer to either start Alderente or Richards ahead of Cunha. That's my first thing. I think the Haaland Ekitike one depends where you are in terms of rank. If you're in a very good position, like, top maybe 200k, I don't necessarily feel like there's the need to potentially take on Haaland this week. I think, Ekitike could still be just a fine asset on his own. So you could still get pretty decent effective ownership out of him. However, if you're chasing and looking to gain rank, I do think Ekitike could be a pretty decent option this week. Burnley have conceded the third most goal involvements to strikers. They've also conceded the third most XG to strikers as well. So that makes him a very, very appetizing and appealing option to potentially go for this week for the armband. However, like I said, I do think he'll probably be a good enough option to potentially go for, so I don't hate it. But other than that, I think the team looks pretty decent. Like I said, I would be tempted to maybe start Alderente, Richards ahead of Cunha for me this week. Yeah, that's probably where my head would be at with that one. So yeah, that's where I'd go with that one. What else have we got in here? I've accidentally gone to the team news rather than the team review one. We've had a few other ones sent in, so let's take a look at these. KJ has said, I was planning to start Richards, but I'm put off by Gahey being now. Is that overthinking, or should I start any of the other two? I mean, yeah, you've kind of got the same debate as me, haven't you, really? Do you start... I would be tempted to maybe start O'Reilly ahead of, like, Anderson and Richards this week. Yeah. I do think I probably would be tempted to go with O'Reilly ahead of those two. So that's probably what I'd do there, KJ. Cool. Like I said, guys, make sure you are coming over to the FPL Cartel if you do want to get your team rated by myself or, of course, Golden Goal as well. He's live right now doing team reviews through Discord as well. We're both obviously whipping them out over there. So, yeah, like I said, come and check it out. Come and have a chat to us. Anything you want to ask us about FPL, we've got our exclusive podcast, mini leagues, all that good stuff. And yeah, last man standing, which will could restart next week, could maybe be a few more weeks. We've got 2 left, and they've gone for Liverpool and Arsenal this week. So very exciting stuff. Good morning, Tom. Should I start Walter Marder or Cunha? I think you take the gamble with Walter Marder, right? Should I captain Thiago? My rank is down. I personally wouldn't look at Thiago for me this week. I probably would look at like a Haaland, an Ekitike, maybe a Gabriel. Like, I think Gabriel could be an all right shot for this week. I really, really do. Like, my model is very, very bullish on Gabriel, to be honest. So yeah, maybe could be a week to go with Gabriel. Looks like we've had another team, so let's quickly dive back into the. Let's have a look. Let's dive back into the Discord. Looks like we've had another one sent in. Cool Guy 22. Thank you very much for joining the Discord. Really appreciate it. He says, "Hi Tom, just wanted to see what you think of my wild card for this week. A couple of punts in there. I'm not sure on Mateta. There's news that apparently Juve are looking at him, so I think he would probably not be an option that I would go for. I like the Munoz one. Like I said, my model is very, very bullish on him. So when he is back fit and available, I do think he could be a great option. So yeah, I probably would say I don't like Konza either. He offers absolutely no extra value other than the clean sheet. So he's probably one that I would look at. So for me, Mateta, Konza are probably two that I think, for me personally, I would maybe look to avoid. I think as well, Tarkowski, I would rather have Chalobah, but maybe double Chelsea defence is a little bit overkill. I don't mind the Sanchez. I think he's a decent-ish goalkeeper for the next few weeks. But yeah, for me, Mateta, Konza, maybe Tarkowski also fit into that bracket of players that I would definitely reconsider. Konza, like I said, offers zero value outside of clean sheets. Mateta looks like he potentially could be on his way out of the club as well. And I don't think that's something that you potentially want to go for. I think, for cheaper, you can just get Thiago, and that's a pretty combative front three. And Tarkowski as well. I think for the money that you're paying is a little bit expensive. And Everton recently, they are a little bit on the ropes in terms of their defensive numbers as well. So yeah, thank you very much for sending your team over. Really do appreciate it. And welcome to the FPL cartel as well. Like I said, guys, if you do want to get your team rated by me, that is the place we're going to be doing them now as well. Let's see if we can try and hit 50 likes on today's stream as well. It would be massively appreciated as always. I'm just going to quickly blow my nose. Give me a second. Oh, I just banged that. Double defense would be a no. Let's wait and see. The fixtures are there. Chalobah as well just scores points ridiculously well. Hi mate, is it worth it to replace Timber with Gabriel? I mean, maybe, because he might give you a decent TC opportunity in potentially the game week 26 if we get a double there. That's maybe my only thought process behind that one. I mean, he is also a monster as well, isn't he? He is also a monster. Foden on the bench? No, I think he'll play. Bench Thiago or Foden? I mean, that surely there's got to be somebody else in their storage that you can potentially get away with. Who should I bench among Senesi or Anderson? Probably Senesi for me. Bournemouth have one of the worst away records for goals conceded, so that's probably where my head would go with that one. Who is the best in your model? Enzo, Wilson, or Tavernier? We can take a look for you, my friend. Let's have a look. So who were the names? We had Enzo. Let's clear all that. What's he down as? Enzo Fernandez. What was the other names? Tav. And who was the final one? Enzo, Tav, Wilson. I think Wilson actually is quite rated by the model. Harry Wilson. It's very close. Very, very close. Enzo edges it over the next few weeks. I imagine that's just purely down to the fixtures that Chelsea have got. A lot of greens in there, so his projected numbers are a little bit higher. Harry Wilson, though, not too far behind him here. I don't know if you guys can see these numbers. Yeah, you can. And then finally, Tavernier. I have actually factored in his penalties, but it's the game week 23 game against Liverpool where his points are a little bit lower than the other guys. But other than that, when the fixtures are decent, he is a very, very tasty little option. So, yeah, my model rates Enzo the best out of all of those three, but it's not too much to split between them in terms of projected points. So, yeah, there it is. There's the model. Like I said, if you want to come and have full access to the model, one of the bonus features of joining the cartel is that you will be able to get access to it. So there you go. Cap Bruno Guimaraes. I mean, I don't mind it, but like I said, there is a potential risk that he maybe does miss out this game. Like, Newcastle have a lot of fixtures coming up. So that is the only concern I would have. Would you keep Gordon for another week? I would keep him for another week. Yeah, I wouldn't sell any of my Newcastle players ahead of Wolves. Like, if they play, they're bound to get a decent score against them. I know Wolves have been improved in the past few weeks, but it's still a decent fixtures target, in my personal opinion. Would you suggest Enzo or Palmer for the next 5? I need to see more from Palmer to personally go there. And I think Enzo, being one of the leading players for non-penalty XGI, is making a case to say he's probably going to be the better pick. Which club do I support? I support Mansfield Town. We play in League One. So for anybody abroad, that is the third tier of English football. And it's where I'm from, so happy days. Rice or Semenyo? I would prefer Rice longer term. I have both Foden and Cherky. Start both. I personally would start both. We might get some team leaks as well a little bit later on. Bench Garner or Tavernier for Foden. I personally would bench James Garner. Like, he is just a guy that will probably come away with 4 points or 5 points this week. His floor is great, but I don't know about his ceiling. Enzo/Chalobah for Cunha/Dorgu for a -4. I don't hate those moves. Would I do it for a -4? Probably not. I do think you could maybe wait. Like, depends where the bigger priority is in your team, but I don't necessarily think it's worth the -4 in my opinion. Cap Thiago, my rank is down. I personally don't think I would this week. No. Yep, Gahey can't play today. Start Alderente or Richards. I would personally go with Alderente. Sunderland are unbeaten at home, so he would be the one I would go for. Yeah, Bruno is the best. Bruno is genuinely the best. Yeah, Bruno is genuinely the best. Who would you sell Cunha to? Well, I'm selling him to Rice. That's my personal option. I think the options this week are Rice, Tavernier, Enzo, maybe even a cheaper guy. Depends what you want to do with your side. Maybe you need some budget for defense. Garner, Yanel, I don't mind either. Like, they're probably the ones as well. Foden to Bruno in Game Week 24. That is my plan that I've currently got as well. Matty Cash. I mean, his points aren't terrible, but again, there's not really anything else going for him. I don't know where he ranks on my model. We can have a look. I need to also add, like, defenders to this model. That's the next move we need to do. Cash. That filtered that? No, it didn't filter that, did it? Clear. So 21 projected points over the next 5 game weeks. Not amazing. Yeah, definitely not amazing by any stretch of the imagination there for Matty Cash. Oof, apologies, guys. I've captained DCL, fair. I mean, he's not a bad punt, but I don't know if I'd captain him. Is Paqueta a no-go? He's come out of my team. Yeah, Paqueta's probably a no-go with, like, the transfer stuff. Yeah, for me, he's probably a player that I would, if I've got him, and maybe I've got no other priorities to move on, he would be a player I probably would move on this week. Thoughts on Johnson to Palace? Like, it's just one of those, isn't it, where I'm not really excited about him as a pick. And I think this week, Sunderland away, like, yeah, not for me. Sunderland unbeaten at home, by the way, which is absolutely ridiculous considering they played Arsenal and City at the Stadium of Light already this season. Like, it is a bit mad. People are saying, like, yeah, Foden might get benched. It could do. He genuinely could do. It wouldn't shock me if they did bench him, but I'm still gonna stick with him. Like, it's still a pretty good fixture. I don't think personally they're gonna just bench him, but wait and see. Maybe I could be wrong on that one. Bench one, Semenyo, Foden, DCL, or Tavernier. I think I probably stuff Tavernier on the bench. Yeah. I'm relying on good FPL returns for basic happiness this week because United is cooked today. Do you think we can still pull it off? I think there's always a chance. It would not shock me if United win today. It really would not shock me if United somehow pulled out a win. Yeah, if they went, oh yeah, United are going to win today, it genuinely would not shock me. It really, really would not shock me if United pulled out like a bit of a win today. I don't know why, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting rid of Cunha this week. He's going for Declan Rice. I got burnt a few weeks ago making an early move. So now my plan is to just like if I'm not going to worry about price, just sit there. Just genuinely just sit there and wait before making any silly or daft moves. So I've not got to do anything stupid. That's kind of where my head is at. Don't do anything stupid, Tom. So yeah, just leave it like that. Vice Captain Richards won't be the final one. The Vice will go on to Gabriel. So yeah, Vice will go on to Gabriel. I personally don't like Xavi Simons. Yeah, I even as a 2-week punt, yeah, not for me personally. Ekitike or Thiago and DCL on the wild card. My team's a mess. I personally would be tempted with. I don't mind Ekitike and Thiago. It is a good front two, but I think for the budget you pay for DCL and the points that he's been scoring, he's been very, very decent. So I probably would say DCL and Thiago for me. Fernandez or Szoboszlai to bring in this week. I personally wouldn't look at Szoboszlai as a pick. I think Enzo takes it. I really want Rice. I really, really want Rice. I miss him, and he is one of my favorite. Like I owned him earlier in the season. And he's just so consistent on what he does. Yeah, he's genuinely so consistent. So let's talk you through what I'm actually thinking in terms of my transfers. Because I've had a few people ask me. So it's going to be Cunha out. We're going to bring in Rice. There we go. Rice. Then next week, we might take out Szoboszlai. We might leave him in. But I think the move is to potentially go for Enzo. Like that. And then the following week. Actually, yeah, the following week. So game week 4 would then be bringing in Bruno Fernandes just like that. Now, we've got 0.2, so it is going to be a little bit of squeaky bum time to maybe make that move come off. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We can't have really too many drops for Foden or too many increases for Enzo to really make that move come off. But that is where we're at right now. And that is the plan. That is the plan. And if we can't afford Enzo, yeah, that could make things a little bit hairy. But we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at over the next few weeks. Maybe we might have to make some early moves to avoid being priced out. But yeah, we'll see. If I'm 16k overall, you reckon I should captain Haaland instead of Ekitike? Feels like I need the coin here. I personally would still go with Haaland just for the effective ownership. And I feel like if you've got Ekitike, you'll still get decent rank out of him. But we can ask the coin. The coin is here. Heads is going to be Ekitike. Tails is going to be Haaland, okay? It is tails, which I think was Haaland, right? Should I bin off Rice? Saka for Rice is what you're asking. I mean, Rice has been outscoring him. He really, really has. It's a difficult one with a double game week coming up because you might want to captain Saka. That's the only thing I'm thinking in the back of my head. You might want to captain Zaka. And if that double does go into 26, it does fall in between an FA Cup game. So like they could very easily just rest in the FA Cup game, then get them back out for the next round of the what's it called? Yeah, it'd be very easy to get them both playing the double game weeks. I personally still would start Foden, yeah. I trust the coin more than you. Hey, the coin didn't let me down last season. It was a great ally, let me tell you. Start Chow or Alderente. I think you go Malik Chow for me personally. Yeah, Malik Chow gets the nod. Let's get a cough sweet out. This one's a bit battered. I don't know where this one's been, but it's a bit battered. Should I play Thiago or Garner? Villa defending corners, so might punt on it. I mean, Thiago's probably like one of the most informed players in the Premier League right now. But Brentford aren't great away. They've only won 6, 7, 9 points. No, they've won 9 points. 6 of them have come in the last 2 games against fairly easy opposition where you would expect them to do it anyway. So, yeah. I mean, Gardner's floor is definitely going to be higher than Thiago, right? It just is. Bench one of DCL, Wilson, and Thiago. Oh, my days. Should we have a look at what my model's saying? I feel like this is prime model time. Let's have a look. Game week 22. So, can you guys see that? No, you can't. Let's bring this back up. So, we've got Wilson, Thiago, and who's the other one? Calvert-Lewin. Why is this not showing? I don't know why this isn't working. Oh, they were just all up here. Brilliant. So, Calvert-Lewin. We had Wilson, Harry Wilson, and we had Thiago. So Thiago's got the best for this week still, despite, everything. Then Calvert-Lewin, then Harry Wilson. I guess probably because of the penalty taking, like it's bumped these two up. But yeah, maybe Harry Wilson's the one that misses out, unfortunately. Looking at that. I mean, this is the thing with Haaland, right? Is they've said he looks exhausted, but then why did they play him against Exeter? Like, genuinely, why did they play him against Exeter if he was exhausted? I think if they're going to rotate him, it's either going to be the midweek he misses out, or it's going to be, what's it called? The Boda Glimt game midweek. Those will be the ones I think he'll miss. I mean, it has been very sloppy defending, and it's also been penalties, but you take them. You take them every day of the week, and he's just a natural poacher, I think. I don't hate those moves. Yeah, I don't hate those moves you suggested there. Yeah, I don't hate those moves. He blanked against Exeter. He did blank against Exeter, yeah. I don't mind that. Yeah, that's fine. You replace an injured player with a player that I think will be quite desirable over the next few weeks. So, yeah, I don't hate that. Enzo and Chalobah, yeah, I don't mind that either. What do I think about Gahey to City? We spoke about it a little bit earlier. I do think it probably makes Gahey a little bit worse of an FPL asset. Just because he probably won't hit defensive contributions at City. It's not something that they do. And Other than that, like that's about it. Like he also scored a lot of goals or picked up quite a few points this season from set pieces and stuff like that. That won't happen at City. They just don't look for that metric. I'm planning to cap Watkins. Yeah, he's all right. But I think he's a good enough differential where you don't need to potentially look to captain him, in my opinion. My vice is Richards. Yeah, it won't be Richards when I've done the team. Once I've made my move and brought Rice in, we'll shift it. We'll shift it now because I keep getting people ask me about the Richards one, but it's going to be Gabriel. Yeah, there we go. Is Tavernier still good? Yeah, he's really good. Confused who should I captain? Haaland, Gabriel, and Bruno G. I think if you're in a decent rank position, like don't overthink it. Just stick it on Haaland. Yeah. That's kind of how I would see the situation, to be honest. Like I wouldn't really overthink it. I think Cunha starts, but yeah. Yeah, I do. Gabriel would be a better captain. Gabriel's second on my model, by the way, for predicted points for this week. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. Maybe Gabriel is the one. Who knows? Like I said, depends how much you want to trust the new model that I built. I personally have. I'm still working on it. There's still tweaks that need to be made really for it, but yeah. I would personally probably play Richards, you know. Yeah, I probably would. Croupie's fine to start this week if you want. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate it. Do I think Ekitike starts? Yes. Who's first in my model for this week? It's Haaland. I mean, if you look across any model, it is Haaland. No, I'm still doing the move. I'm just literally just waiting. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm still making that move. Yeah, it's going to be Cunha in for Rice. That is still the move we are going to make this week. But like I said, I'm just waiting till the last minute, see if there's any sort of team news, anything like that, before, of course, making the move. How are Nottingham Forest at defending set pieces? That is a very good question. It's something we can find out. Set piece goals conceded Premier League 25-26. See, there's not like an easy source to find this, and this is the thing that bugs me in the arse. Just there's not like a way where I can just go, oh yeah. Goals scored, distribution of goals scored against. Maybe it's that one. That's minutes. If someone knows where I can find goals conceded against from set plays, that would be really appreciated. Because it is literally a pain in the arse to find this information. Because I can find goals conceded is fine. But the set play one is the one I want. That's the one I want to know. So if anybody knows where I can find a good source for goals conceded from set plays, that would be great. Which defenders am I targeting in the next few weeks? I'm looking at potentially maybe getting Senesi back in. That's an option on the Premier League website, apparently. Okay, let's take a look. Statistics, I guess it could be in there. I really like Munoz, but yeah, I mean, the stuff that's happening with Palace is probably a little bit off-putting. Right, let's have a look at club stats. Can I see more? I just want to see more statistics, not... Come on. Just show me all the statistics, club. I think if I was that far back, I probably would maybe have a little bit of a gamble on Ekitike cap this week. I mean, the Premier League website has chat everywhere. As I'm trying to look at this. Bench Foden? Nah, I'm not benching Foden. Why is the Premier League website just crap? Like, it just doesn't work. There we go. Someone's put it in the chat. Nottingham Forest conceded 34 goals, 4 off penalties, 3 off set pieces, 6 off corners. Where does that rank, though? Because 6 off corners doesn't sound like a lot for a team that have been pretty crap this season. Hey, Tom. Bench 2 from Garner, Tarkowski, Richards, and Lafay. I would personally bench probably Tark and Lafay would probably be the ones I would bench this week. Should Rodgers be good this week? Should be, but it's Morgan Rodgers. You never know what to get from him. Yeah, I think that's also valid. Players straight after surgery could be a little bit of a, it takes them a little bit of time to readjust back to regular life and football in life and stuff like that. So I think you make a good point. Start Anderson or Krupi. I probably would go Anderson. Yeah, the Premier League website is literally dog poop. It doesn't work. Like, I'm literally clicking on the statistics. And, yeah, nothing works. Like, I can look at team stats on, like, one page, but I can't look on it, like, it just doesn't load. It doesn't load. Why you have Cunha on the bench and you're playing Soberslai? That's 2 points. Cunha's coming out and we're going for Rice. Yeah, we're going for Rice. Start 2, DCL, O'Reilly, Wilson, Cunha. I would personally go with DCL and Wilson. Start 1, Tarkowski, Cunha, Lafay. I would be tempted with either Tark or Lafay. Yeah. I don't know. Let's go Tark. Do I play Tavernier or Rodgers? I personally would play Rodgers. It's a good fixture. I know, obviously, benching a penalty taker is never nice, but I think Rodgers, for the price you're paying, like, it's a good fixture. This is where you would hope that Rodgers would deliver it. Hi, Tom. Hope you're well. Bench 3, start 1 from Chow, O'Reilly, Mane, Alderente. I think you start Chow. You bench the other 3. That's probably the way that I would go with that one, to be honest. For everybody asking in the chat, my move this week is going to be Cunha to Rice. Simple as that. Of course, if you do want to get your team rated by me, we are doing them over in the FPL Cartel Discord. So get yourself in there. That's the joint 4th worst. West Ham 12 goals conceded off corners. Bournemouth 8. Liverpool 7. Nottingham Forest joint 4th with United and Villa on 6. Okay. I mean, it's not as bad as West Ham where, like, there's a clear, I'd say, pattern. Like, 6 isn't amazing, but yeah, they're definitely not a mega defense, are they? So yeah, not bad. Cheers for that, Billy. Appreciate that, mate. But yeah, they're not terrible, but they're not amazing, shall we say? So maybe Gabriel could be a decent little option this week. Maybe my model knows. Maybe the model knows. Should I do Lafitte to Tavernier and start him over Tarkowski? I have 2 free transfers. I think Enzo Lafitte would be completely like. I don't see much upside in Lafitte or Tavernier this week for me. I really don't see like too much of a big upside. Do keep the questions coming in, guys. Anything you do want to know ahead of the deadline, let me know. Like I said, team reviews are over on the Discord. All you have to do is check out the link that I'm about to post in the chat, and that will take you to our sign up page. So if you want to join, use our sign up page. Also, we're closing in on 100 likes on today's stream. So if you do enjoy it, make sure you are hitting that like button. Van de Ven short term, no. I don't trust Spurs. I personally wouldn't go there. Not for me, anyway. Yeah, not for me. No worries, my man. Sell Foden or Semenyo to Wirtz to Gakpo. Sell Foden. Sell Foden or Semenyo to Wirtz or Gakpo. Sell Foden or Semenyo to Wirtz. I personally would do neither. I genuinely don't think I would take any of my City boys out there for the Liverpool lads. I don't think I would do either. Chelsea really don't like strikers then, do they? Thiago could be the boy today. What is XG stat saying? Let's have a look. XG stat. Let's have a look what they're saying. Cunha to Tavernier and O'Reilly to Alderente this week or roll. I don't mind the Cunha to Tavernier one. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think I personally would leave the other move though. Let's see where Chelsea's goal involvement. I'm just trying to chase rank, so thinking about differentials. As I always say to people, you can make a differential team in combination. Like, it's very easy to get just like, you got to think like, oh, I need all the differentials in the world. You don't. What you do need is differentials in combinations. So there won't be many people that will own Bruno, Saka, Rice, like Enzo, Palmer, whatever. That midfield 5 won't be highly owned. For me, Thiago, Haaland, Ekitike, if we put it in, maybe there'll be like 6% of the game or whatever. Like, it's these kind of things that you've got to really look for. They're the things that are going to make the difference. Rather than just thinking in terms of one differential, think of differentials in combination. That is where you will find, like, you know, all these players that you think are highly owned, but still pretty decent. I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind it if he decided to pass the ball out and give it straight to Thiago. That would be great. That would be very enjoyable. Let's have a look then. Where are Chelsea's most vulnerable positions? It is from the striker. 0.59 goal involvements, the 8th most in the league. What about XG? 5.7, so 4th most. So yeah, if you've got Thiago this week, very easy play given those numbers, isn't it? Very easy numbers. 0.57, which is the 4th highest, by the way, for XGs as well. If you're enjoying today's stream, make sure to hit that like button. Let's see where we can get today's stream up to. Start Bowen or Gordon. I think you played Gordon with a fixture, right? It should take you to a bit that says like join the Discord once you've signed up. Like it will take you to the page and it's like then join the Discord. So yeah. If you're still stuck, let me know and I'll try and help you. But basically when you sign up, it should then take you to like a page once you've paid. So once you click join here and done all the whatever and started the trial period, it will then like send you through to a bit and it'll say join the Discord here. If not, log back into sub launch and it will then be available for you to select like within your profile and stuff. Start Tarkowski or Van der Ven. I would personally go with probably Van der Ven this week. Yeah. Given how poor West Ham are at defending set plays, could be a nice one for Van der Ven this week. I personally play Palmer. I would personally play Chalobah. I have DCL, Haaland, Ekitike, Cunha, Foden, Rice, Rogers, Wilson. I need to bench one. Cunha, done. What's the news on Munoz? Nothing as of yet. I don't think he'll be available for this week, but yeah, we've got no further updates. In game week 31, will only the Carabao Cup finalists blank? And their fixtures, yeah. So whoever they're playing in their fixtures, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but yeah, they'll blank. What are your thoughts on Gabriel as a captain this week? I don't hate the idea. Billy did some great research for us in the chat, found that Gabriel and Forest, 4th worst defence for goals conceded from corners. Obviously, Arsenal, we know, are the masters from that metric. Gabriel as well, like, he is second on my model that I've built that's available in our Discord server as well. Like, yeah, don't hate it as a pick. I really, really don't hate it as a pick this week. Yeah. Of course, guys, if you are enjoying the content, make sure you are hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting subscribe as well. Run that road to 30,000 subscribers. If we could do it by the end of the season, it would be great. But let's just wait and see where we end up, hey? Hi, what are your thoughts on Kroopy this week? Do I start him? Depends who you've got in the rest of your team, really. Maybe a tenner. I might be doing Sobo to Enzo next week, to be honest, mate. Yeah, Sobo to Enzo next week. Or Tavernier. Yeah, Tavernier as well could also come into the side next week. Or again in game week 24. Should I start Anderson or I would personally go with the Sunderland defender, unbeaten at home still. They'll hit DEFCON. Yeah. That's where you should go on that one. Like I said, guys, any questions you do have, let me know in the comments. We'll try and answer as many as we possibly can before we do wrap up. Obviously, today a little bit later on. Damn cough is doing my head in. And yeah, like I said, if you want to come and join the FPL cartel, had a few new members today. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Really appreciate it. Ekitike to Kroopy or Mane next week. They're also in my mind. Like if Ekitike blanks or doesn't look good or maybe plays limited minutes, it is in my mind that we might potentially replace him. However, I'm not in like any priority rush to really get rid of him. But if we maybe get the double confirmed for like Arsenal, then that also obviously offers us a great opportunity to get another doubler in. I don't hate that. Start Chow or Mane? I'd go with Chow. Chow. Mane's definitely going to rob his clean sheet now. Just the way it's going to go, isn't it? Cunha to Bruno or Enzo. Can afford both. Is that Bruno G or Bruno F? Let me know in the chat. Any thoughts on Frimpong? Not really a pick for me, to be honest. His minutes are just wild. Yeah, and his injury record's not great. I think for the price you're paying, no, not an option for me. Yeah, not a move I personally would go for. Bench 2, Thiago, Alderente, Tavernier, Enzo, Wilson. I would probably say Alderente and probably maybe take the bench. Best Keane replacement, already have Gabriel Collins, Gahey, 6 million in the bank. I don't mind Elliot Anderson, Joachim Anderson, sorry, or maybe looking at a Sunderland, a Palace defender, or maybe a Sunderland defender because they rotate quite nicely with Newcastle. Yeah, or Senesi, maybe going in on early on him. Like, I don't think he's the best player to pick up for the next 2, but from game week 24, he could be a decent option. Or Chalobah. Yeah, Chalobah's not a bad one as well. I never really like wildcarding with injured players, so I probably would maybe look more towards the Wilson one. Yeah, Ishmael Assar also being back could also be a cheap little budget option. Iliman and Dye as well coming back for Everton as well could also be a fantastic shout. On penalties, Defcon. Yeah, 6.2, he might be a little saucy little option that might start emerging as well. I don't know what Everton's fixtures are like. We'll have a look with Pickford. Not bad, you know. Villa this week, which obviously he'll miss, but he'll be back for the Leeds game. Leeds, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth. Like, that's not a bad run. I really, really don't mind that. And because they play on the Monday, I would say that probably gives him a decent shout to potentially play. Iliman and Dye might be the one I maybe look at. Burnley in 29. They play Chelsea in game week 31 is the only put off, like, just in case Chelsea go through, but he might not be a bad shout. I don't mind the Ndai fixtures. I don't think they're terrible. I really, really don't think they're, like, woefully bad. I would rather have the Bruno move you've suggested there. Cunha to Bruno, F or Enzo can afford both. Right, there we go. I personally would look more towards Enzo, I think, yeah. I would personally try and get through it. I think if you're in a decent rank position, the optimal play is wildcard 32 and then set yourself up for the double game weeks. Like, if you've only got 2 injured players, I think you could probably get by. So I think you'd be fine. I would prefer to have Enzo ahead of Tav, I think, yeah. I think if you've got the funds, maybe do the move later on. If you can get by this week, then I think that'd be fine. Thoughts on Gakpo? All right, but I don't personally see enough to make me go there, to be honest. Bench 1 from Cunha, Hall, or Alderente? Cunha. If you've already answered this question, sorry, man, I'm making a coffee earlier, but Cap, Haaland, or Ekitike? I think I said at your rank, I probably would maybe give it a little bit of a gamble. And I think I would be potentially tempted to go and look at an Ekitike. The problem with Saar is I've been burnt by him in the past. Palace still have their Europa, whatever it's called, Conference League playoff games and all that jazz. And you've also now got Brennan Johnson thrown in the mix. Like, that's my concern with that one. Anderson or Rodon, I would play probably maybe Anderson this week. Foden and Cherky predicted not to start. By who? By who is my next question. Cunha or Wilson? I would personally go for Wilson. Yeah, I'd go for Wilson. Who's told you that prediction? I'm just going to pick up my phone to try and have a look. Because if it's not from a reliable source, then it's Just hearsay, isn't it? Absolute hearsay. Thoughts on Cunha and Szoboszlai to Bruno and Wilson or Tav? Yeah, I rate the moves. I would maybe. Seems to be a feeling if we get a League Cup final that Wolves may be Wednesday the 18th, so would be a double. Looking likely for the double in 26 then. FPL Olympian has gone for the Ekitike cap, by the way. If anybody was thinking about it, maybe that might put you off. But yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything I can find on Ekitike, on Foden or City lineups, but I haven't seen anything. Cunha to Enzo and O'Reilly to Gabriel. Yeah, both great moves. I would definitely do that. We've all been burnt by Enzo, but you're happy to recommend him. Yep. I just know that Enzo is still a good pick. Like, I know we all got burnt by him, but he's still good. Happy New Year. Hope you had a good break. I mean, there wasn't really there was like a little break, wasn't there, last weekend? But other than that, we've always been here, haven't we? We've still been plowing on with stuff. Of course, for team reviews, guys, make sure you're getting yourself into the FPL cartel. Make sure you're coming and checking that out. Plenty of amazing stuff going off there. Chelsea progressing to the EFL Cup final is better for FPL. I disagree. You get no Arsenal double in 26 then. You get no Arsenal double, and I feel we're all probably going to be on the Arsenal triple up anyway. Wilson, Stack, Krupi, start 2. Probably would go Wilson and Stack. Yeah, I like Enzo Fernandez. And if Palmer's still like in and out of the side, like he has some penalty share. Like it's not like, massive amounts, but at least it's something. Like it's something that I can get behind. His XGI numbers are fantastic. Non-penalty XGI, that is, by the way. So yeah. Will Gahey start? No. He is not registered for Manchester City. The move's still not officially gone through. Of Elliot Anderson, O'Reilly, and Krupi Jr., which two would you bench? Probably Elliot and Krupi would probably be the ones that I would go for. Yeah. Cunha to Wilson to free up the money for next week. Don't hate it. Morning, Tom. Play Enzo or Thiago. That's a toughie. I probably would still lean towards Thiago, given some of the data we've seen in today's stream. We spoke about, obviously, Chelsea being the 4th worst side to give XG to strikers. I think 6th worst side for goal involvements from strikers this season. So I would still be tempted to play Thiago there. And penalty share. I never like benching penalty takers. Like I said, I probably would prefer to go for the Bruno Fernandes and Krupi Jr. route. Yeah. Chelsea can't double in 26, if my mind's not mistaken. Yeah, Chelsea can't double in 26. They have to double in 33. I can't remember the reasons why, but yeah. I think it might be due to the Champions League. Like, they might not be able to put it there in case, like, them or someone else goes into the qualifying stage, whatever. So we wouldn't get a Chelsea double in 26, is how I'm reading things at the moment. So the only way that we're going to get a double before 33 is going to be the Arsenal one. So yeah, Arsenal getting to the final gives us a potential double in 26. And from some of the things that are going around on socials, that is looking likely. Any plans to change your front three? Not at the moment, no. Yeah. Yeah, someone put that earlier in the chat. Semenyo isn't registered to Manchester City's Champions League squad, so he will not be. Yeah, he won't be playing for them in the next 2 rounds. and obviously City in the position they're in, the fixtures they've got, you will imagine that they probably make it to like just straight through to the next round. So Semenyo's minutes in the Premier League for the next few could be pretty decent. So I don't think he's a instant sell if you've got him still kicking about. And he's banging form. Like he's had a great start to his City career, hasn't he, in the Cups? So yeah. Of course, guys, if you're enjoying today's video, make sure you're liking, subscribing. You know the drill by now. As always, as well, come and check out the FPL Cartel. That is where we're doing team reviews and all that good stuff. And I'm a little bit under the weather today, so yeah. We're all good. Enzo is a troll. Never done anything when I've owned him. Love the videos. Keep it up. That's just the way some players go for some people, isn't it? Like, we've all got those players that I think we've been burnt by in the past, and we can never really let it go, can we, after that? Would I go with Pope? I probably would go with Pope. Yeah, the clean sheet numbers will be so much better for Nick Pope. I think they're at like 38. I think Sunderland are at 31. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I don't know if Rob's done an updated post, but that's what they were earlier in the week. Let's have a cheeky gander, shall we? Let's have a cheeky little look. What am I looking for? I can't believe what I'm looking for. Rob T. I don't know about Cherky. I don't know if Cherky starts today. No updated numbers, but let's have a look here. Newcastle are at 33 according to Pinnacle's models, and Sunderland are at 31. So I'd still probably give it there, yeah. He's not a bad play though if you want to go for it. I hope Foden scores an assist today. That would definitely help me in my cause with my team. Could Gahey start today for Palace since the move isn't official? No. Glasner said yesterday in his press conference, he was like, nah, he's not playing again. And Glasner also said he was leaving in the summer. Like, it was just a truth bomb over truth bomb, wasn't it, really? I'd still play Raya. If I had Raya, I'd definitely still play him ahead of Roos this week. What do you think about Captain Rice or Cherky this week? Not for me. I think there are better options. Start Foden or Thiago? I would personally go for Thiago. I never like benching penalty takers. He's all right for this week. 31% chance, Sunderland unbeaten. Yeah, he's all right. Obviously, we'll be streaming till around 9 o'clock, so do make sure you are hitting that like button. We're close to 100 already. And yeah, like I said, we'll be live for another half an hour up until around 9 o'clock. And then we'll let all the big boys go and do the things, the Raptors, the Focals, the Harrys, all that. We'll let them go and do their thing after that. Harvey Barnes is a 2-week punt. No, probably not for me. I think you probably want to be avoiding short-term punts right now, because I think you want to maybe either make long-term moves that are going to do good for your team if you're on like the wildcard 32 strategy, or you want to be looking at, we might get a double in 26 and you might not have enough Arsenal players, or you might, need to navigate that in a better way. Maybe you want like some other players to potentially get yourself into that double. Maybe it's to navigate the blank in game week 31 and you'll be like, remember when I burnt a transfer back in game week 22 on Barnes? Like, yeah. So I think, maybe being a little bit more, not cautious, but maybe taking more calculated risks. And I don't think Barnes is the most calculated of risks, in my opinion. I personally would maybe just stick. Yeah, there is that bench that he might get benched today. That is the only consideration that you got to go for. Like, he might get benched. They might go, yeah, the Champions League game is going to be the one we're going to play him in. That could be the only concern I would have. I don't mind Gabriel captain. My own model has him second for predicted points for this week, so not a terrible pick by the stretch of the imagination. So maybe could be the one. The people saying about Foden, like, if Foden scores today, then he's got Wolves next week. Like, if he misses the midweek game and plays like, decent minutes against Wolves and United, could be a very decent option. I think with Bruno G as well, there is a chance he maybe misses this Wolves game out. Like Newcastle's fixtures in the Champions League, they've got big games either side of that. They've obviously got the Carabao Cup, they've got the FA Cup, they've still got obviously the Premier League to go, and they've got like Villa and Liverpool in the next few games. Massive games for their obviously, European charge next season. So you look at all the games they've got coming up and go, where would I maybe want to rest some of my players? It would be this Wolves game. That is the only thing that does concern me a little bit about potentially looking at some of these players. So yeah, that's kind of where my head would be at with some of them. Palmer and Enzo in the wild card for Chelsea. Yeah, I think I probably would have a double up of Chelsea players if I was on a wild card this week. I do think I probably would. Yeah. Bruno Fernandes, do I start him instead of Rice? I really like both of them as picks. Surely there's got to be maybe somebody else that you could potentially get away with benching there. Start Bowen or Alderente, home to Palace. I would go Alderente. Hi, bud. Start Semenyo or Bowen. Also love the content. You've helped me beat my mates for the first time. Love that. I would take the gamble on Semenyo. Yeah. Not being registered for the Champions League squad could make him, pretty decent for the next 2 for Champions League minutes. So yeah, I probably would do that. Start one out of Cunha, Semenyo, O'Reilly. I'd be tempted to give it Semenyo. Sobo over Bruno G. I mean, if I could pick the two right now, I would rather have Bruno G than Sobo. Like, Sobo's going to lose his penalty appeal. Could be at right back. Yeah, not for me. Thiago or Minter for this week? Thiago, 100%. Only Rodgers or Krupi for Bruno. Which one? Krupi. Easy. Done. Start Van de Ven or Chow. I mean, Van de Ven could be on for a mega haul this week. He really, really could. Like, West Ham are terrible at defending set pieces. Would not surprise me to maybe we see a Van de Ven mega haul. But, like, Chow against Wolves is still a pretty decent fixture. But I think, you know what? Maybe take the gamble. Maybe take the gamble and go Van de Ven. Maybe take the gamble and go Van de Ven. Bowen is a weird player where he definitely would do something today, wouldn't he? Like, after all the blanks he's had and people selling him off for Thiago, it would not surprise me to see Jared Bowen get, like, a mega haul today. I think you probably would rather have Bruno G than Semenyo for me personally. Thiago or Semenyo, who to play and who to bench? I would not want to bench either of them. I mean, is there any other options you can go for with your side? Because I personally wouldn't want to bench any of them. Ekitike versus Haaland cap. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I've gone with Haaland. I just think for my rank and the place I'm in, the sensible move is to go with Haaland. Thiago or Alderente? Thiago, 100%. Given the fact that Chelsea have conceded sixth most goal involvements from strikers and 4th most XG from strikers in the league, I'm having a bit of that. Oof. And who was you benching again? Like, Rodgers, Semenyo, Wilson, Rice, and Foden. And you got to bench like Thiago or something. Oh, my days. That's a toughie. That is a toughie. I would be tempted to maybe bench him ahead of... Yeah, who do you bench him ahead of there? That's... I mean, yeah, who do you bench Thiago for there? I'm struggling. I like, as rogue as this might say, Rodgers would probably be the one for me. But yeah, that's it, really, to be honest. What's the best Gahey replacement? Got Gabriel, O'Reilly, Anderson already. Why have you got to take Gahey out? Like, he's going to be moving to City. They've got some pretty nice fixtures. Not a bad option. Won't be registered for the Champions League, so we'll definitely play Wolves next week. I don't think he's like, if he can get by this week, you could just bench him. Arteta could rest. Yep. Arteta very easily could rest. Played midweek, played the Saturday. Doesn't like to play him 3 times a week. It would not surprise me if we saw Saka bench today. But I'm going to keep him. Can Thiago score against Chelsea? Yeah. Easy. Given the numbers that we've seen for Chelsea conceding goals from strikers, then yeah, it would not surprise me. Is Keane good to keep on the bench? He's fine, but like there's still that murmur of Branthwaite, but we still don't know when Branthwaite's going to be back. We've still got no concrete news on that. Will Cherky play? I would probably say no, but let's wait and see. We might get some early leaks a little bit later. That would be my hope on that one. Maybe captain. Like I said, I think if you chase him rank, maybe Ekitike captain could be a steady Eddie for this week. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Of course, if you want your team rating by me, head over to the FPL Cartel. That is where we're doing all of our team ratings from now on. So make sure you're getting yourself in there. Only getting rid of Gahey as I have 3 City already. I mean, the game will force you to make a move next week when that transfer goes through. But like I said, if you've got 4 imagine having 4 City players versus Wolves. Could be a shining light, mate. Who's better this game week, Thiago or DCL? Or I mean, fixture-wise, you would say DCL, but yeah, I probably would go still with Thiago. Can I not eat mince in the mic? I'm eating a cough sweet, you dick. If you don't like it, you know where the door is. I don't mind captaining Gabriel. Yeah, I don't mind it. He's second on my model for this week, so yeah, I don't hate it. Should I bench Chow or Mukulele? I would probably go the second option. Is he the guy from Brighton? I've got 3 Arsenal on wildcard and I need a long-term goalkeeper. Could go with rotation or just one main who. I mean, if you wanted to go for just like if you're on wildcard this week and want a goalkeeper to stack on the bench, because you've got to kind of make it through blank game week 31. Maybe Raya could just be that guy that you stack on the bench and kind of just there's your free Arsenal. But if you don't fancy that, and I think your routes are Sanchez, I think, with the Chelsea fixtures, could be a decent option. Verbergen, Kelleher, they're probably your picks I would go for. Pickford wouldn't shock me if he's like up there again for one of the top point scoring goalkeepers at the end of the season. So, yeah. Yep, that's correct. It's 1 week. 1 week free trial. It got knocked down the other day from 2 weeks to 1 week. Would you say Thiago is your planned transfers for the next few weeks? No. Not a guy that's playing very good minutes and doing decent. He's not a planned transfer out. I've got Gabriel, Rice, and Timber. Nice. That is a good free. Am I still doing team reviews? Yeah, if you want to get your team reviewed, head over to the Discord. There you go. Bruno G or Gordon to play this week. Could you not just play both? Like, they both got decent fixtures, so yeah. There we go. That's probably the way I would go with it. If you are going to send me, like, massive paragraphs, like, I might struggle to read them. That's all I'm going to say. Like, literally, most of the big paragraphs that people have sent me have gone. Bowen to Ekitike, don't hate it. With Marlon now at Roma, I think Watkins becomes consideration. Yeah, potentially. I think the only thing that could go against him is the fact that he's still a non-penalty striker. Like, this is the thing I don't like about Ekitike and why you'll never see him high up in models too much, is because he is a non-penalty striker, and that's the thing I don't like about Watkins. He's also a non-penalty striker. There are also murmurs that they are going to go and buy another forward in the market. So yeah. Discord link, yeah, I can send that back in the chat. There you go. Would you bench Thiago or Wilson? I'd be more tempted to bench Wilson this week. Oh. Play Van de Ven or Collins. I would be tempted to play Van de Ven this week. West Ham have conceded the most goals from set plays. You know, we've seen Van de Ven and Thomas Frank work wonders from set plays before. So, yeah, that's probably where I would go with that one. When is KDH going to be available? I think it was 6 to 8 weeks we got. So, yeah. Is Haaland, Thiago, DCL the best front three? I mean, if Ekitike puts in a decent performance today, he could definitely rival that. But, yeah, I don't mind that as a front three. It's pretty steady, isn't it, going? One to bench, Thiago, Raul, or Cunha. Probably Cunha. Who will take Villa's penalties for Villa? It will probably be Tielemans. I'll make it shorter. Needs capped differential this week. Do you need to captain a differential? I probably would look at Watkins out of all of those as my picks for the differential captain, though. Would you say a free hit is fine this week or stupid? Stupid. It is stupid. Yep, you have to pay for the Discord. It is free for 7 days, so you can come and test it out. Whoa, there's some spam. There's some spam and a mute. Please don't spam in the chat, guys. We'll try and help everybody as best as we can. But yeah, please don't spam in the chat. Yeah, free for 7 days, so you can come and test it out, see what you think, and all that good stuff. Do I reckon Cherky will play? Probably not. But we'll wait and see. We might get some leaks. Hopefully we get some leaks. Should I captain Rodgers, Watkins, Haaland, or Gabriel? I think if you wanted a safe and steady option, Haaland. Second for me probably would be Gabriel. Third would be Watkins. That's probably where I would go with that one. Watkins rumoured to be ahead of Tielemans on pens, but behind Buendia. I mean, Watkins has had pens in the past and missed quite a few. I think it will be... Yeah, I still think it will be... what's it called? I still think it will be Tielemans. But we'll have to wait and see who steps up the next one for Villa. If it is Watkins, then that does obviously make him a much more appealing asset. Logic behind your captaincy over Ekitike. We've gone with Haaland purely just because of the rank I'm in. Having Ekitike will probably be fine enough for me this week. But yeah, it looks like quite a decent amount of people are looking at Ekitike for captain this week. 28% in the chat, so maybe. Let's wait and see. Like I said, it's so hard to predict who's going to be in that attacking lineup for City, so we'll have to wait and see. Foden to Wirtz. I don't hate it, but I do think with United and what's it called? Wolves up next. Like if he misses that one, then I personally wouldn't go for it. Best replacement for Casemiro in 5.5 million. Tav with penalties could be a great shout. If you've got the budget to stretch, maybe a Tavernier could also be a pretty decent shout. I also don't mind the look of... who else don't I mind the look of? There's somebody else that I don't mind the look of. Gardner, Xhaka, Stack. They're all pretty steady as well for that price point. You can't really go wrong with them. Bit risky to go on the triple up of Sunderland. For me, yeah. That is very risky. I know they've got some pretty decent fixtures over the next few, but still fairly risky, to be honest. Bowen, hold or sell? Depends who you're moving him to. Like, he could have penalties this week, which makes him a lot more of an appealing asset to potentially look at. Cunha to Wirtz for a -4. No. Enzo Lafay, all right, but we don't know if he's maybe off penalties or he might step up for the next one after that crap last one against Brentford. We'll have to wait and see. Good replacement for O'Reilly. Either an Arsenal defender, maybe looking at Chalobah, given the good fixtures that Chelsea got going forward as well. Yeah, that's kind of where my mind would be at with that one. Maybe a Palace defender, some pretty decent fixtures coming up for them. So, yeah. Bench one, Wilson, DCL, Minter, Bowen, easy, Minter. Sell Van Dijk to upgrade a midfielder to Rice or stick with... I would stick with him for one more week. Then I'd get rid of him after this week. Stock Cunha or Thiago, easy, Thiago. Easy peasy, that one, lads. Easy peasy. I'd personally go a Sunderland defender ahead of Tarkowski for me. Do I get rid of Rodgers for Semenyo? No. Morning, Tom. Just wanted to say thanks for streaming and having your content. Have a great day. Appreciate that, James, man. Hope you're having a good day as well. I'm playing Big M and Wilson over Tark and O'Reilly. Do you agree? Who's Big M? Minter? Let me know who Big M is. Do you think Palace defense is a lot weaker now with Gay gone? We're going to have to wait and see. Like, they might delve into the market. They might go and pick someone up. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, how they play out. But definitely could be. What are my Chelsea plans? Might be Enzo. Might be Chalobah. There's a route to Palmer as well. I think it's all dependent on how we see Chelsea get on today. Really big one as well. I'm punting on Palmer. Fair. I mean, after after not being in the squad midweek, it does probably mean for me that I'm probably not even going to look at him till like 24. Sunderland also have some pretty decent fixtures over the next few. Could also be worth maybe taking a look at. What are you thinking about replacing Mateta with DCL? Any other option? Don't mind that. Yeah, I think DCL probably would be the one I would look at. Pencher, yeah, minutes are quite good. Yeah, I rate that. Chalobah gets the nod for me. Defensive contributions, goal threat from set pieces as well. Ahead of Cucurella. Like, one of the best players for points per game at the moment is Chalobah. So, yeah, I think he's really gone under the radar as a pick. So, yeah, he probably would be the one I would go for. Obviously, we'll be wrapping up in about 10 minutes' time, guys. As always, we go and let the big boys doing their thing. But, of course, if you do want to keep coming over and chatting to me, head over to the FPL Cartel and we can come and chat. I personally would go for O'Reilly in that one. Best 5.5s. We've run through them. I said Tavernier, Xhaka, Gardner, Stack, Yano. They're probably the picks I would be looking at in that price bracket. Does Minter play this week? I know he's back in training, but I personally would maybe look to move him on. Like, I think you've got, plenty of good options kind of kicking around at that price point. Abby, one of our channel members, and of course, one of the members of the cartel, she says, "Good morning, everyone. I'm going to the Liverpool match today, and my Ekitike shirt arrived yesterday just in time." You've got to go with that captain, right? You've got to go with the captain. Ekitike captain with the shirt on. I'm saying all this like I can remember like everybody's team, but I think you have Ekitike, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Abby, in the chat. I'd go Wilson ahead of Cunha. Yeah, Wilson ahead of Cunha for me. I only see it worth it if you've got like injuries stacked up, or it maybe allows you to get a player in that you think could be big over the next few weeks and maybe just sets your team up. That's the only reason that I would ever do it, for me personally. Would you play the wild card this week? I'd only play it if I really, really needed to. Other than that, I would be looking to hold it off like till game week 32. Like, unless my team was absolutely riddled, yeah, I probably would look to get rid of it. For people that are just joining, this isn't my final team. The transfer plan, in is going to be Cunha in for Rice, and then I think it's a 50-50 call on Anderson or Richards for the bench this week. I'm leaning slightly towards Richards and taking my own model's advice. Other models like Review, Solio, and all that, it's pretty much just neck and neck 50-50. Haaland Zio scares you. Abby, come on. Have a little bit of fun. You've got the shirt. You're going to the game. You go into the game, Abby. A little bit of fun, a little bit of risk. Now, I understand the EO scarcity. I do get it. But could be a fun one. How about Gabriel captain? I don't mind it. West Forest have conceded the joint 4th most goals from corners. Thank you, Bill, for finding that stat in the chat. And yeah, what else goes with that? Obviously, Arsenal, the masters of scoring corners. Clean sheet numbers are pretty decent as well this week. I don't mind it. Somebody says I'm captaining Rice. I don't mind Rice. He's just a pretty steady Eddie, though. Like, I'm saying all this. He's got more double-digit hauls than Xhaka this season. So, yeah, who knows? He'll be coming back into my team today. Like I said, I've been burnt early before making early moves. So the plan is just to sit and wait, like do it very, very last minute, just in case we get any City news. Like if I found out Phil Foden's bench today, I could be tempted to do actually a double move. And it would be Cunha for, what's it called? Cunha for, why is the guy's name not coming to my head? Cunha for Rice and Foden for Bruno could be the moves that we do today if I found out Foden was benched from early team news. But like I said, let's wait and see. I'm not going to make any moves on stream. They will be all done a little bit later. But those are the moves that I am planning. So that's kind of where my head is at right now. So yeah. Any questions you've got, do get them in the chat, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are, what your dilemmas are. Anything you want to let me know. Let's go for it. I'd be happy if we got a point. You never know with derbies. They're always a bit weird, aren't they? And it always seems like the Manchester derby comes at a weird time where, you know, United are usually in some sort of like turmoil where they'll just be like, oh, we've sacked the manager or this manager's under pressure. And then they'll just win it. It always seems to happen. It just seems like one of those things, isn't it? It's, yeah. Whatever happens, that's always one of the things that happens. Start Senesi or Krupi. I would personally go with Krupi. Bournemouth's away goal record is terrible. They concede goals for fun all the time away from home. I think they're still the leading team for goals conceded away from home. So, yeah, they're not a good unit. Not a good unit by any stretch of the imagination. Hall or Chow? Probably Hall. I still think I probably prefer Hall. I've said that for a few weeks. I know like Chow obviously got that big mega haul. No pun intended there, but I watched Lewis Hall the other day and I did think like this guy has got a mega haul in him at some point. He really, really does. Whoops. Any questions you've got, guys, do get them in the chat. I would probably bench the Sunderland defender there. Wharton from Palace, don't ask me why. Or Cherky. I would put Cherky. Love the FPL puns. Yeah, you always end up doing them, don't you? Everyone always ends up doing them. What do you think of Gakpo's a 2-week punt? Probably not for me. Not for me, in my personal opinion. I'm debating between Saka, Cunha to Rice/Bruno or Keane, Cunha to Alderente and Bruno. I like the Alderente and Bruno move. Yeah, I rate that. Is it a bad week to bench boost? Yeah, we're going to get doubles further down the line. That'll be a better week to use it. You played Delap last week. Oh, my days. Why did you play Delap? Yeah, I don't think I'd play Delap. Maybe he starts today, but yeah, not for me. I think that's probably a little bit too much money spent on goalkeepers. I think if you go in Raya, you just pick a 4 million, realistically. Kirkez or Frimpong, neither. Genuinely, I would not want neither. I think there are plenty of better defenders within the game, to be honest. Yeah, plenty of better defenders in the game. Where I don't even think you need to look at either of those as picks. Is Verts a good pick? He's all right for this week, but I do think longer term, probably not an option I would want to have. going forward within my team longer term. Oh, yeah. I might have to end the stream early at this rate. Yeah, we're going to have to end the stream early. All right, I need the bathroom, so I will see you in a bit. All right, bye, guys.